welcome back to my channel. I just wanted to take a moment today to talk to you about some of the things that I did before going full-time with my business that were absolutely essential to prepare me for this transition. It is a huge, scary, crazy jump to make the leap from, having a consistent, steady full-time job to then leaving that consistent, steady paycheck and going out on your own and becoming a full-time small business owner, or as I like to call it, becoming a full-time creative entrepreneur. So that's what we're going to be getting into today in this video. I'm not going to go super into depth on each item, but I do just kind of want to share with you guys for right now what the things were that I focused on that got me to the next level to where I needed to be to take my business full time. So if you're new to my channel, I'm Sophie. I am a full-time illustrator and graphic designer. I am also a small business coach, and I am currently launching a group coaching program that is called the Creative Entrepreneur Accelerator program. It's going to be a 12-week live group coaching program to help all business owners, current and aspiring, anybody that has a creative entrepreneurship dream or idea. This is going to be the course and the program where we are going to make these dreams happen. We are going to be breaking it down step by step, week after week. We're going to be going through several different topics and really going into great depth with each of those topics. And we're also going to have office hours during the off weeks. You're going to have accountability from me, your classmates. It's going to be an incredible program where we are going to take businesses to the next level so that you can stop feeling like, oh, I have all these business ideas, but no idea what to do with them. Or I feel like it's been months and my business hasn't grown at all and I don't know what to do next. There's so many people out there that are struggling with, okay, what's the next step? How do I take this to the next level? How do I amp it up a little bit? So that's exactly what we're going to do in the Creative Entrepreneur Accelerator. It's going to accelerate you and your business into the next chapter for you. I'm so excited for the students that are joining this program. If you have any questions or if you're interested in this program, you can check it out. I've got the link in my little description box down below. We are closing enrollment this week on Friday, May 26th, I believe. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and check it out. If you're watching this by the time that time period has passed, please go ahead and sign up for my email list below so that you can be updated on when the course is going to open again for re-enrollment. I will quit babbling on about my course and go ahead and get into the things that helped me go full-time with my business. So this is what I did to prepare for taking my business full-time. The first thing is going to sound pretty obvious, which is growing my social media following. I started on social media in 2019, and pretty much from 2019 to probably like 2021, 2022, I was consistently posting on social media every single day. Like most of the time without fail, I was posting 7 days a week. I was capitalizing on any moment that I could to get social media content up. And actually, I would say that was probably from 2019 to 2021. And then, of course, during 2020, that was a huge time of growth with social media and just everything that was going on with the pandemic. And I do tell people the strategies and tactics that worked on social media in 2020 are not what works anymore, unfortunately. And I am still figuring those things out on my own, testing things. But it's interesting because I spent years kind of building up that social media following to 90,000 plus followers. And honestly, now I am not currently in a phase of life and a phase of my business where I'm trying to grow on social media. I'm actually pivoting a little bit and targeting different people, a different target audience than what I originally grew my audience with. And so that pivot means that I've actually been losing followers on Instagram specifically. But that's kind of strategic for me because the original target audience that I was attracting with some of my original content is just not currently aligning with my current business goals. So for me, a lot of the times the people that I'm trying to target right now are people that are interested in learning about how to grow a small business and how to become a full-time small business owner, how to create the career of your dreams. And at the time when I first started creating content and illustrating, I wasn't trying to reach those people because I didn't know how to do that. So my audience and my target audience has just changed a little bit. And it's normal to notice a decrease in followers when you start targeting a new group of people. And, there's going to be some people that your current message resonates with and other people that it doesn't resonate with them anymore. And then also social media nowadays is kind of like the wild, wild west. It can be really hard to know what's going to work and what's not, but it takes a lot of planning, consistency, and observation, a lot of that, and also research too. So I'm not going to be going into how I grew my following in this video or what I do now to either maintain my following or grow my following. But I could do that in a future video if you guys are interested in that. That's also something that we're going to be talking about in the Creative Entrepreneur Accelerator program, which I'm really excited about. The next thing that I did to prepare for going full-time with my business was developing a client roster, which means kind of like a stack of clients that are signed on with me on a retainer base. So I work with clients in a lot of different capacities, but one of those is retainer-based client work. So they are signed up for a certain amount month to month that they have to work with me, and they have to sign up for a 4-month commitment at least. And so because of that, that kind of gives me some wiggle room and a little bit of a runway. It also gives me some consistent income that I can expect from month to month. And so that was really important. And I do have multiple streams of revenue, but at that time, especially in kind of like the beginning of my business or just in the last year where things really kind of jumped to the next level with my business, my main source of revenue, in fact, 85% of it was coming from client work. So I just really, really prioritized client work and ensuring that I actually had a full roster of clients. So because I did that, I did a ton of business development. I was able, when I went full-time with my business in November of last year, I was able to go ahead and jump right into a ton of client work and even give more of my time to some of my current clients instead of having to, spend my first few weeks of being in business full-time looking for clients and doing a bunch of business development and constantly on discovery calls. I really didn't have to do that when I first went full-time because I already had a pretty full client roster. I did bring on a couple of new clients after going full-time with my business, but I wasn't bogged down by the stress of business development when I initially went full-time because I had a pretty substantial list of current clients built up at that time. Next thing that I did and would advise other people if you're looking to make the jump now or at any point in the future is to make sure that you are making a consistent income for at least 6 to 12 months. So a lot of people say a good rule of thumb is to make sure that you're making a consistent amount each month for 6 months. But for me, I did that for 12 months until about probably 8 months into that I really looked back on my numbers and I was like, wait, this has been like the same consistent amount for the past like almost a year. It was starting to become a whole year of that. That was kind of the moment for me when I realized that, okay, this is a viable business. I'm making a consistent income. But I also realized that I had all these revenue goals that I was never going to reach if I didn't have the time to reach them. So a big problem for me, in my full-time job, balancing that with my business was that I was getting new inquiries for work that I could not comfortably take on alongside my full-time job because I didn't have time for it. And so that meant I was turning down paid opportunities because I didn't have time. And so to me, that really showed me that if I did go full-time with my business and had full-time hours to put towards my business, I was pretty confident that I was going to be able to really grow and scale my business in terms of money and compensation. And I was also in a position where I was making a full-time income with my side hustle. I hate calling it a side hustle, but that's what a lot of people call it. So let's call it a side hustle. With my side hustle part-time income, I was actually making a full-time income with that part-time job. So I didn't have full-time hours to put towards my business when I was working for a corporation, of course, or another company, of course, but I was still making a full-time income. So to me, it wasn't a huge full-time income. It wasn't anything crazy, but it was a full-time income. So to me, that really communicated and showed me and gave me a peace about going full-time with my business, because I was like, if I can make this much money without having part-time hours to put towards it, imagine what I could do if I did have full-time hours to put towards my business. So that was a huge consideration, was where were my numbers at consistently each month? What was I averaging at? How were my numbers trending? So that was really important for me to be in touch with the financial side of things, and to also consider, what are my business expenses? What am I making? What am I profiting? So being in touch with your numbers as a business owner, I think, is super, super important. I also focused heavily on making connections and networking with people. Networking was a huge, huge part of getting my business to where it is today. Social media is great, but there's a ton of real fast growth that happens when you're just able to get out in front of other people and talk to them, whether it's at a networking event, maybe a market that you have a pop-up booth at, or maybe reaching out to somebody on LinkedIn and just asking them to go to coffee with you. There's always going to be somebody out there that knows somebody's brother, that knows somebody's cousin, that could have work for you, or that wants to hire you to do something. So networking my butt off was a huge part of getting me to where I am today. And also just telling people what you do for a living, not being afraid to share with people what you do with your business. I have shared this example many times, but I actually got a client just from sitting next to them on an airplane and telling them about what I do. I didn't pitch to them or anything like that. All I did was share about what I do, and then we exchanged business cards, and then they later became a client of mine. So don't be afraid to talk about your business with anybody and everybody that you can. One of the other things I did before going full-time with my business was I made it a goal to bring on 2 new clients before I actually quit my job. So this also helped me to kind of get a little bit of a cushion, and I lined it up so that when I did get those 2 new clients, I knew I was going to quit and go full-time with my job, so that I actually had the time to service those clients. The next thing that I did was I got organized with a project management system. I use Notion. It has been an absolute game changer for me. I actually have a tour of my Notion and how I use all of it that I can leave at the description box below to share with you just how I use Notion and how I've used it to streamline my business and all of my internal processes. It has just been absolutely life-changing, because when you are a small business or a team of one, it's absolutely essential that you stay organized. And then I also created a business bank account and took care of some of the logistical things that I delayed for years and years and years. So if you have not registered as an LLC, if you don't have a business bank account, do those things, because it makes a huge, huge impact, especially in the transition between going from working a full-time job with somebody else to working full-time for yourself. So those are just a few of the things I did to get myself ready for this transition. I hope that this was helpful for you to just kind of hear what my perspective was and where my mindset was with these things. I'm LOLing because my camera battery just died, so now I am using my phone. If there's anything specifically that you have questions about or you want to hear more about, let me know. I didn't really make this video to go into depth about how I did each of those things, like how I brought on 2 new clients, or how I opened up a business bank account, or how I grew on social media. But if you do want me to go into depth on any of those topics, just let me know in the comments below. And those are topics that I am going to be going into depth with my students in the Creative Entrepreneur Accelerator program that is starting in June. So if you do have any questions about that, and if you'd like to join that, please go ahead and let me know. You can reach out to me at simplysophiedesigns@gmail.com, or you can also check out the landing page below in the description box that has the link to apply. Anyways, so I hope this was helpful for you to just kind of see what went into my decision-making process, because it is a huge decision to make, and it's a decision that only you can make. But you have to also remember that there's never going to be a perfect time to make that decision. I kind of just got to a point where I felt like the decision was just already made. Like the decision had been made for me. I don't even really know how to explain that, but the Lord just gave me such a peace about going full-time with my business. I don't really know how to explain it other than that all of a sudden overnight, I just knew it was time. Another big part of how I knew it was time to go full-time with my business is that I was like devastated every single day of my life. My mental health was suffering simply because I wasn't doing this full time. So it just got to a point where it wasn't worth it to me to have the money from 2 incomes. And I was just like, I'm just ready to do this full time, because I, for a long time, adopted the mindset of make as much money as you can for as long as you can. And I just kind of got to the point where I was like, the money isn't worth it to me anymore. And I just want to do what I want to do, which was work for myself. And fast forward 6 months later, I am now making more money with my a small business, my current job, than I ever could have made working for my previous employers, like all of them. All of my previous employers, I would not have been making this money. One of my other employers, when I was working in a corporate marketing position, like it would have taken me years and years upon years to reach the amount of money that I'm making at this point. And even then, I still don't know if it would have been possible there. And I don't say that to brag or anything like that, but to just share that like the Lord provides and he makes a way. He makes a way. If you're willing to trust him, like he will make a way. And that's exactly what has happened since I went full-time in my business.